Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from beautiful Costa Rica. Today's topic is, was the discard planned? Think about that for a minute. Guys, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So the discard, that is when the ending of the relationship happened. It's when you were thrown away like a piece of trash on the side of the freeway. I'm not trying to trigger you. Most likely, it was much worse than that. If you were discarded, it is simply one of the most horrific experiences you can go through alongside with the narcissistic relationship when you actually put everything together. The discard, what was it planned? I'm going to jump into this and give you actual insight and to let you know that perhaps it was. First of all, when you met the narcissist, were they who you thought they were? No. Remember, they were manipulating you from the get-go. They were portraying themselves to be very similar to you. Remember, they mirrored back to you what you wanted to see in them most times. Fun, loving, kind, empathetic, beautiful individual. And the narcissist saw that you had so much abundance around you, so many resources, so many things that they could extract from you, and that you would actually fall in love with them perhaps, or you would certainly fall for the mask. And then next thing you know, you are in the love bomb / euphoric stage. Fast forward, you go to the devaluation stage, which I will dig into in a few moments, and ultimately, for this video, the discard. Again, if you were discarded, my heart goes out to you. If this was recently, perhaps you don't want to watch this video, maybe save it and watch it at a later date. For you veterans out there, my hope is this video will give you some wisdom, some education, and it will help enlighten you as to perhaps what happened in your relationship. Now again, the narcissist, they manipulated you. They wore a mask. And what they did is they saw the value that you had during the love bomb / euphoric stage, and they wanted to take from you as much as they possibly could. Once they knew they had their dirty fangs into you, sunken deep into you, in other words, once you became attached to them and you began to give up most of the things that made you you, and you became an extension of the narcissist and you started dancing around like a puppet for the narcissist, that's exactly when you entered the narcissistic fog, which was the devaluation stage. Now, the length of time that you were in the devaluation stage, I can't say. Perhaps it was weeks, months, years, decades. Perhaps it was a lifetime. I don't know. My hope is that you are out of the narcissistic fog. You are healing and or have healed. You're moving forward and you are living your best life. But if that's not you yet, my hope is it will be you in time, in your time. Now, was the discard planned? I can't say that it exactly was planned to a T. I can say that it was in the works. It was just a matter of time as to when it would be executed. Please understand that. So when you entered the narcissistic fog, which was specifically the devaluation stage, you could actually say the euphoric stage, but I prefer to call it the devaluation stage. That's when you just don't know what's going on. You're not being treated properly. You're being treated worse and worse each and every day as time goes on. Your life is consumed of walking around on eggshells, doubting yourself, giving to a fault, doing anything for the narcissist, hoping to get back to that euphoric stage. Of course, you will get breadcrumbs along the way. You will have a day or two, perhaps a month, a day or two in a month, period, perhaps, of a regular relationship, or a healthy relationship, I should say. And that's enough to keep you along. That's enough to keep you strung along while you continue to work for the narcissist the whole time while they are out getting your replacement. It's true. It's what the new supply is. Now, having said that, was the discard planned? The truth of the matter is, all narcissistic relationships come to an end. They all end with a thud, a crash, a bang. And if you were discarded, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was one of the most difficult things, if not the most difficult thing you had to experience because you weren't prepared for it. And this person who claimed that they loved you, they showed their true cards. They showed their face when the mask slipped and when they discarded you. In fact, they never loved you. They can't love anyone. They don't love the new supply now, and they don't love anybody but themselves. It's a fact. It's the way it works. So the truth is, was your discard planned? Yeah. Was it narrowed down to a T, like the exact date, time, and situation? No, I honestly don't believe that. But that's for you to decide, and you can drop comments below. I can say this, though, that the longer you're in the toxic narcissistic relationship, the more chance these have to implode and or explode, or you get discarded. Unless you're one of the fortunate ones that wises up and you discard the narcissist, or you end the relationship ahead of time. And that's beautiful. That's called recognition. That's called self-worth, self-love. And that's called knowing who you are and having boundaries. God bless you if that's you, sincerely. But was the discard planned? It was insidiously being set up. Yes, puzzle pieces of the puzzle were being shifted around for the ultimate discard, I'm certain. When that would take place, I don't know. I can tell you this, when you were discarded, most likely the reason why you were discarded, there were a few reasons, but I'll give you two right now. One is because most likely you finally stood up for yourself and you said, wait, what's going on here? I don't get this. I'm not being treated properly. What are you doing? And when you put a boundary up with the narcissist, that is a recipe for disaster. Why? Because they're like kids, 7-year-old kids. Nothing against kids. I was one once too. But kids don't really understand how the world works. And if they don't get their way, sometimes they have temper tantrums, i.e. the narcissist at any age. Now that's reason number one. Reason number two very well could be that the new supply and or your replacement was giving the narcissist such supply that they outgrew you, meaning you no longer had the resources. Perhaps you were physically ill. Perhaps your financial resources were depleted. Perhaps you couldn't give them the attention and put up with their poor behavior as much as you used to. That's another reason. There are many other reasons, but those are two I'll illustrate right now. Having said that, again, it was just a matter of time before the narcissist executed their plan to discard you. Many times, if you understand what I'm about to tell you, drop comments again. Many times when this happens, it will happen around key dates or key periods of time for you, i.e. your favorite holiday, your birthday, a vacation, when there is a loss in the family, when there's a big thing going on in your life. That's many times when the crescendo gets so high that they're like, wow, I can't pass this opportunity up. I need to crush this person, which was you, and they discard you. And that compounds the effects. Example, let's say there was a death in the family and you were trying to grieve the death. Well, believe it or not, the narcissist can easily discard you then if they don't invalidate you, which of course they were doing anyway, but they can discard you then to compound it, which means you don't get the proper time to grieve the loss in the family or the death. And then now you have a double whammy because now your relationship just blew up on you. You understand what I'm saying? It's the same thing with holidays. Let's say your favorite holiday is holiday whatever it is. Maybe a day before the holiday or 2 days before it, they discard you and you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? And now that holiday is ruined for you. It's an example. And truth of the matter is the holiday isn't, in the big scheme of things, it's not such a big thing. At least for me, what it is it's a reality that the discard happened. You had to fight your way through it, which I'll talk about in a moment, and here you are. Having said all these things, the execution of the discard, it will most likely be when the new supply is in place, which is your replacement, when you are super low on resources, when you are understanding, you're catching on to the narcissist that this person is not benefiting you, there's something really wrong here, and then you perhaps stand up for yourself and put a boundary in place. Understand this though, if you picture the narcissist right now in your mind as you're listening to this video and or watching it, and again, thank you very much for being here, but picture the narcissist for a minute, whoever they are, or the narcissists, plural, and just think how many long-term friends they have, how many long-term romantic relationships they had, how many stable jobs they had. In other words, stability is not something that the narcissist is accustomed to because they need to blow up relationships, businesses, families, marriages, friendships. They need to blow up everything. Why? Because that gives them supply and that lets them take control of the narrative before the other individual perhaps ends it before them, which is completely childish because if you are in a healthy relationship, let's say it's a romantic relationship, well, what you do is you sit down, grab that cup of coffee and you talk it out and you say, hey, it's not really working out. I think you feel the same way. What do you think? The other person says, yeah, I think you're right. Things have changed. I want to go in a different direction. No problem. Then you grab that coffee, maybe have a hug, say, God bless you. Let's keep in touch. I wish you the best. And you move on. Does that happen in a narcissistic relationship? Absolutely not. Has it ever happened? No chance. Will it ever happen in the future? Impossible. Why? Because the narcissist has been setting you up for the discard since the beginning of the relationship, since they identified who you were and or are. And they've calculated this, when to do it, when to find your replacement, how to exhaust all the resources from you, how to blame shift you, how to gaslight you, how to give you the silent treatment, how to have you coming back begging them to stay in the relationship when in fact what you really want to be doing is running for the hills, but you didn't know any better because you were in the trauma bond and you were caught up on this yo-yo, this hamster wheel working for the narcissist. It's not until you get the education on channels like mine and many others that you actually see the light. You get your first light bulb moment and you understand that perhaps, and again, if the discard happened for you recently, this may not be for you, so I would pause the video and watch it at a later date. But when you are discarded and after you've healed properly, this is a blessing in disguise. Yes, It is difficult to process. Yes, it is not something you wanted to experience, but yes, you did go through it. And my hope again is you are on the healing path and or you have healed and you understand now you are in the third version of you and you can see the world completely through a different set of eyes, which I mention frequently on the channel. What that means is you no longer are a people pleaser or a yes person. You now have boundaries. You can say no. And you now understand that you come first, second, and third, that you are the priority. It's not the narcissist. Remember, the narcissist, when they saw you and ensnared you in their web of manipulation, what they sincerely wanted to do was just have you be their puppet, their pawn, have you be the person that provides a great lifestyle for them, builds them up, puts them high on the pedestal to the detriment of yourself. That's what they wanted. They didn't love you. They don't love you. They can't love anybody. And they know that. That's why they jump from person to person, unsuspecting individuals who do not know anything about the narcissistic abusive cycle. And they get these people ensnared in the web. And then they blow up those relationships and discard them, or that person wisens up ahead of time and ends the relationship, and then on and on and on. That's exactly how it works. It's not a way a human being should be. Human beings should be kind, loving, empathetic, beautiful, and living their best lives, not trying to destroy other people's lives. But yet that is the narcissist's nature, to manipulate and to destroy people's lives in a wake of destruction. I'm not going to use any more adjectives there. I'm just going to let you know that's what the narcissist does. So to answer the question officially, I've given you much insight here, but was the discard planned? It was planned. It was planned all along, but it was just a matter of time when it was executed. Again, that's a fact. The narcissist knew your relationship would blow up, and they knew most likely that they would be the person that did it. They just waited for the proper time or an excuse, or perhaps you experienced reactive abuse, and that gave them a ticket out. Who knows what it was? The point is, when your resources are gone and depleted, believe me, your replacement is ready to step up to the plate. Unfortunately, it's the fact. It's the way it works. But now my hope is you're living your best life. Guys, I hope you liked the video. I loved doing it from beautiful Costa Rica. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon. Stay true, stay blessed. Continue to become awake and aware, and understand the discard was planned. When the execution of the discard was going to happen, I can't say, but they knew that eventually that relationship will blow up, because they knew eventually you would wise up and eventually you would crack and you wouldn't be able to take it any longer, meaning nobody should be abused on this planet for 1 minute, let alone a period of time or the length of a marriage or the length of a family relationship if you were born into one. So guys, no matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. God bless you. Remember, you are not alone. I love you. Have a great day. I will talk to you tomorrow. All right. I'll talk to you guys, tomorrow. Have a great day. I love you. Bye.